Welcome back, Knights of North Castle. I hope everyone's ready for another great quest. Have you seen my dragon friend, Sparky?
Here I am.
Oh.
Sorry I was late. I had cold feet.
What? What are you talking about?
You know, cold feet. Nervous. It's a joke.
Oh, Sparky. Have you been reading that old joke book again?
Oh yeah. I figured I better brush up on some jokes about the cold. After all, everything is cool here at North Castle thanks to me and my sneezing. Achoo! Night, Tammy, could you check my wing? You know the royal dog, don't you?
Frost? The king's dog? Did he bite your wing?
He sure did. Now I have a frostbite. Get it?
Unfortunately I do, Sparky. Hey, I found another riddle about the great armor. Remember, these riddles are written in an ancient dragon language?
And I am the only one here who can interpret. Let me see what you have. This one says, if the breastplate of justice is what you seek, look for 5 pebbles in a creek.
Ooh, the breastplate of justice must be another piece of the great armor. So to find it, we have to look for 5 pebbles in a creek.
Well, around here it would be 5 pebbles in our frozen moat.
I think the riddle's trying to tell us something. Where to look in the King's Bible? 5 pebbles. Well, in looking through here, I see where people gathered 12 rocks after they crossed a river. But that wouldn't be it.
There was a boy who had 5 loaves of bread. I've eaten some bread that was just about as hard as a rock.
I've got it. There's a story in the King's Bible about a boy and 5 stones. Maybe that's it. Let's take another look inside.
The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 17, tells us about one of the most famous battles in the history of the world. It all starts with King Saul, a very strong and handsome guy. However, as we learn later, he was not a great king at all. Therefore, God chose a small young shepherd to be the next king. He was the smallest and youngest of 8 sons. His name was David. This little shepherd really loved God. King Saul led his people in battle against their arch nemesis, the Philistines. They were not very nice people. When I said they were not nice, I meant to say they were very mean. Thank you. The Philistine army was very confident, and for good reason. They had a secret weapon, a powerful soldier named Goliath. He measured 6 cubits and a span. In other words, he was very tall. Taller than that. Taller? Close enough. Every day, Goliath yelled at the Israelites to send out someone to fight. All the Israelites, including King Saul, were too afraid to fight Goliath, so they did nothing for 40 days. Nothing, that is, until little David showed up to bring lunch to his brothers. While delivering food, David heard Goliath shouting at the Israelites, "Send out a man for me to fight." So he volunteered. The king was unsure about sending a boy into battle. But David told the king about how he had fought both lion and bear to protect his sheep. I will do the same to Goliath. The king agreed and gave David all of his armor to wear, but it didn't fit. Instead, David simply took his sling, went to the creek, and found 5 smooth rocks. Maybe try those smaller ones over there. With only his sling and a bag of rocks, David goes to fight the powerful Goliath. Now, it was Goliath's turn to be shocked as he saw David approaching. Instead of a strong warrior, the Israelites sent a small shepherd boy with no armor. "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" Unfazed, David said, "You fight me with weapons, but God will win this battle." Goliath just laughed. Maybe a little more... Yeah, that's it. Anyway, David took a stone from his bag, put it in his sling, and flung it at Goliath. It hit him right in the head, and he fell on his face. When the other Philistines saw that Goliath was dead, they all ran away, and the Israelites ran after them. All of this was just as David said when he told Goliath, "Our God doesn't need swords or spears. God owns this battle, and he will hand all of you over to us and bring justice." And this is just one great story from the King's Book.
That was an epic battle. And that story answered our riddle about the pebbles in the creek. Sparky, Sparky.
Is it over? Was the giant defeated?
Oh, yes. Where'd you go? Were you afraid of Goliath?
Of course.
Well, so were the Israelites. I bet David would be a big fan of our banner verse. Remember, it's from Ephesians 6:10, and it says, "Be strong in the Lord, and in the strength of his power." Hey, nice, can you say it with me? Out there, say it with me.
Be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his power. Well, that does give me a little more courage.
Speaking of courage, our knights did a great job on their first quest. Now it's time for another quest.
Last time, our brave knights practiced their balance, which is very important for a knight. What do they need to practice this time?
This time, we need to practice a little horse riding. It's a big part of being a knight. Knight spends a lot of time on horses and need to have power and proper riding techniques so they don't fall off. Everyone stand up with me. Come on, knights. Now bend your knees a little, keep your back straight, and bounce up and down.
Do they need to hold on to anything?
Sure. You see these reins here? A knight would hold on to the reins of the horse, and you could pretend to do that with either one or two hands. Try that with me at home, knights.
They are looking more and more like knights. What's our castle call out for today?
Oh, the castle call out is armor up with justice.
David went into battle against Goliath with the king's armor, a sandwich and an apple, a sling and 5 small stones, his best friend. A sling and 5 small stones. To become a knight, one would first become a page, and then a whole book, squire, police officer, baker. A squire. Our banner verse states, "Be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his power, army, horses, iceberg." Power. Thanks for playing.
Hey, did you find the breastplate of justice? Or did you find the breastplate of just ice? Get it? Ice, just ice.
Yes, I think we got it.
Yeah, just ice. Oh, it's so funny because it sounds just like justice. And there's a lot of ice here.
Yes, thank you, Sparky, but we're talking about the breastplate of justice.
What's a breastplate anyway? What's justice? Are these things Roman soldiers had?
Great question. Yes, these are all metaphors, things that are familiar to help us understand something unfamiliar. Paul, the writer of Ephesians, used a breastplate as a metaphor. Remember, there were a lot of Roman soldiers around, and people would have understood what he was saying. The breastplate was the main part of the Roman soldier armor. It would protect important parts of the body like the heart and lungs. When we talk about justice, we might mean someone getting either a reward or a punishment, something for something that they had done.
So when David defeated Goliath, that was justice?
Yes, God rewarded David for trusting in God. God decides what justice is because God is perfect. God is just, so God can bring justice.
Last time we found the belt of truth, and this time we found the breastplate of justice. Those sound like two different things.
Actually, justice and truth go together, just like the belt and the breastplate go together. In a soldier's armor, a soldier would need to put his belt on first and then his breastplate, just like we need to know the truth before we know about justice.
This is really exciting.
Sure is. Great job, Knights. This story about David reminds us that God can bring us justice. David knew that the Lord of God of Israel was with him, and that truth gave him courage to stand up to the giant. David knew that God would bring justice between Goliath and the Philistines' army and the Israelites.
And God brought the Israelites victory, even though they had to face Goliath.
Exactly, Sparky. Let's say the castle call out together, shall we?
Armor up with justice. Say it with us, Knights.
Say it.
Armor up with justice. Great.
And let's not forget our banner verse. Be
Strong in the Lord and in the strength of his power.
Now, let's pray together, Knights. Thank you, Lord, that you are the one true God. Thank you that you bring justice and you give us the courage to trust you, even when we are in difficult situations. Amen.